With the release of Odyssey, one key word changed the scope of tempo decks forever: threshold. Faster than a cobra's bite, Nimble Mongoose was definitely a force to be reckoned with. A 3/3 for 1 that would later become Shrouded is incredibly powerful in the Legacy format. Exercising his right to bear arms, Werebear is a 2 mana producer that can quickly get +3/+3 with Threshold. These two paired with Fledgling Dragon made the deck plan pretty simple. Dump stuff in your graveyard and kill your opponent. The newly printed fetch lands not only fixed mana but also added towards your total threshold count. This all paired perfectly with light cantrips that gave you vision of your deck as well as card advantage. The deck kept very key components of the original, while also using more unique cards to fill up their graveyard whenever possible. The main game plan of the deck didn't change, using free spells to counter your opponent's creatures or spells or whatever they need to win the game. This gave your creatures even more protection. For instance, Day of Judgment and Wrath of God are very powerful spells that people would run at this time, telling your opponent to talk to the hand anytime they think they got one over on your Nimble Mongoose. With the better mana, it did have an addition of Lightning Bolt. This allowed you to not only burn your opponent down, but also use it to kill creatures that could be very important. Finally, it used Fire and Ice, one of the very first split cards, to tempo their opponent out and ensure that their creatures get through. This deck created the initial building blocks of what would later become traditional Canadian Thresh decks, or even later become Delver of Secrets decks. And that's how